All right, hello everyone, and peace of Christ to all of you. Today, our topic is going to be simple and about some news we have today. Today, the Muslims in Saudi Arabia, and let us make it simple and clear, the Muslim Sunni government, not the Muslims, I mean, who present some governments, and supposedly up to 40 countries who they have Muslim populations, they met in Saudi Arabia. And the purpose of this meeting that the Muslims, they want to fight terrorists. Now the Muslims, they decide that we should fight terrorists. And it was very funny. I mean, how in the world that terrorists, they are going to fight terrorists? You know, in Saudi Arabia, until now, they do exactly what ISIS do. Until now, they cut hands, they do beheading, they do crucifixion, they do stoning to death. I mean, this is what is terrorism is about? Is to terrify somebody to death before even he die. And not to mention that the woman is living a terrorist life because her husband terrify her, her brother terrify her, her father terrify her, the man he can beat her. It's a, you know, the whole society is a society of terrorism. If somebody speak against the king, him and his family will disappear. If you speak against the religion, you will disappear. If you don't agree with the Quran, you will disappear. If you say one statement which is not right to say in that society, the society will torture you in the street, life in the front of everybody. As an example, a few months ago we heard of somebody from Pakistan, I think. Yeah, I think Pakistan or Bangladesh, I forgot really. He posted something in Twitter or Facebook, and then 4,000 students, imagine they are university students, those are the educated, they killed him in the university and they throw his body from the top of the roof of the building. So let us make it clear. When the Muslims, they meet and they say we want to fight terrorism, they are going to fight terrorism, or let us say they will fight terrorists who don't agree with their terrorism. But both sides are terrorists. And what do you see in the picture in front of you, Trump sitting next to this big terrorist? It's nothing but is to survive with terrorism. You know, like USA learned that those idiots, we cannot change them. What we can do, so what we do with them, we play them. I mean, we have to let it go, and we have to use them like a goat. So they have money, they have oil, we will suck their oil, we will suck their money, we will control the country, and then let them do whatever they want. Now you agree with the way the American they deal with the Saudi and the Muslims, or you didn't agree, would not make any difference anyway. At the end of the day, there is no way to change those people unless you do a real invasion, and this invasion is going to be very harsh, very tough. You close every mosque, you forbid the Quran, and you start teaching people the truth about this cult. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. Now, Saudi Arabia for sure is a changing, you know. I remember, you know, if a woman she wearing long dress and she show a little bit of, like, let us say, some skin of her shoe side, obviously this girl, she is a whore, she is trying to seduce men. So this is a society of madness. The first bicycle came to Saudi Arabia, was arrested, and the accusation was that this is the bike of the devil. Me myself, I witnessed a beheading of 2 ducks, but those 2 ducks are not real. They were made from you know, like what they call it, it's not concrete, it's like concrete, but it's a soft material, you know, like you can break it easy. So somebody, he made 2 ducks and he put inside them some flowers in his yard, and somebody reported him to the police, and suddenly the police slandered the house, and the Sharia law court judge came and he announced the judgment to behead the 2 ducks. And this is the country, and the people, when he did that, The guy, he took a sword and he cut their head, and the people, the crowd start shouting Allahu Akbar, which is victory, because now we killed the ducks. So we are talking about a society was living literally in the cave time, and now because of internet, TV, satellite, things is changing. But in the last few years, things are changing so fast. But the reason for things to change so fast, not because the Saudi are changing fast. The royal family in Saudi Arabia, they are trying to do their best to change fast, otherwise they themselves will be demolished. It is a solution for the royal family to survive, not a solution for Islam or for the Muslims, which mean it's a change which they are trying to force for their benefit, not because they believe in a freedom or a human rights. As an example, the crown prince, who is planning to be the prince, the son of this man we see in the screen, obviously he is now the king, even though he is not the king yet. He is the one who made the order to allow women to drive cars. Now that was for long a debate about it, and I don't think it was going to happen for maybe 20 years, 30 years from now. But this guy, because he's preparing himself to be a king and he knew he have a lot of enemies, so he wanted to get some support from half of the society, who they can be very helpful in his in the need of, like, in the needy time he have. So by ordering such a law that a woman she can drive, he got some popularity between the young ones. Now, not the religious one. The religious ones, they hate him more now. Now after that, the crown prince, he wanted to eliminate his enemies and those who they are powerful, and we heard what he did by arresting many princes, and he put them in jail, which is a 5-star jail, but doesn't matter really. It's at the end of the day, they got humiliated, and actually we heard the news that they are beating the hell of them, and he is going to strip them from their money. I heard that the Prince Al-Walid ibn Talal, they are hanging him upside down and they are beating his legs and his ass. Actually, I have a picture of that drawing. Let me see if I can find it for you, so you guys can see with me what I'm talking about. It's kind of funny. Let me see where we have it. Maybe this one here. Yeah, here we go. Let me show it to you in the screen. So what do you see now in the screen? This is a drawing of a newspaper. I'm not sure which one, and those are the princes of Saudi Arabia, and those are the scholars there. Let me point an arrow so you can get it, what this drawing mean. They put faces of those people, like this guy is the son of the previous king. This guy is a very well-known Muslim scholar. He have almost, I think, 2 million subscribers to his YouTube, Twitter. This guy he's a prince of Saudi, from the Saudi family, and he was the head of the royal guard, which make him very powerful man, in fact. But here we go, he is in jail right now, and this is the crown prince, who is beating their feet, as you see, and this is happening, as they claim, literally. All right, I'm not sure if this is true or not, but this is what they are saying. The news coming that he is coming by himself and he is beating the hell of them. All right, now some they might don't agree with this guy, because obviously he is being a terrorist himself, and some they might agree with him. Now me myself, I believe that if he did not do what he is doing, nothing will change in this country. I'm not supporting him. I believe he's an ugly, disgusting person, to be honest with you. I believe he's a terrorist that like the rest of them. But my friend, the only way to deal with terrorists is a terrorist. You see, if you go to Saddam Hussein, during Saddam Hussein time, Iraq was 10 times better than now. Now, yes, he's a dictator. Yes, he's a criminal. Yes, he's a killer. But now we have millions of them. I mean, we have millions of Saddam Hussein. One criminal better than having a million of criminals, and nobody knows how the country is messed up. And this country will never be fixed. The only way to control terrorists is to bring terrorists. And the terrorist who should control the terrorist, he should be more aggressive than the one you want to control. You know, when Obama was in government, he wanted to establish an Islamic empire run by the Muslims Brotherhood. And the plan was very simple. And I mentioned about that, you know, from the beginning of this war in Syria, etc. I said it clearly. Actually, from the time Obama was elected, I said Obama will not leave until he establish a caliphate state, and this is exactly what happened. But the caliphate state Obama was trying to establish have nothing to do with ISIS. It was about the Muslims Brotherhood. This is why we see Obama, he is the first one to sponsor the Muslims Brotherhood to take over Egypt. And when the revolution in Egypt took over the Muslim Brotherhood, he was the first president in less than half hour to give a warning to Egypt not to change the president, which means it's a clear support from America by the name of the president, if we can call him a president, to support the Muslims Brotherhood. And all of us, we knew that Hillary Clinton, she met many of their leaders, and actually Hillary Clinton, she met only one person from the whole country of Libya as an example, and he was the head of the Muslims Brotherhood. And you tell me why the foreign minister of America is meeting with the Muslim Brotherhood leader of Libya? Because the plan is simple. We take off the president of Syria, we take off the president of Egypt, we take off the president of the king of Jordan, we take off the president of Algeria, etc. And then we will establish all the way from Turkey, because Turkey already, Erdogan is a Muslim Brotherhood, all the way from Turkey, through Syria, through Jordan, through Egypt, through Sudan, through Libya, through Morocco. All of those will be the first big empire for the Muslims Brotherhood. However, the plan did not work for many reasons. We will not really count them for now. So now, after all this chaos happened and all the stupidity which the Western they did by sponsoring the Muslims Brotherhood specifically, which was leaking to the sponsoring of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. So all the weapon they give to Muslim Brotherhood end in the hand of Al-Qaeda and ISIS were growing so fast, and they became the major power in Syria, and they became the most let us say powerful terrorist group. And that was the end of the Muslim Brotherhood dream. So Obama was a failure, and the president of France was a stupid, and the donkey of UK was a donkey, and the prime minister of Italy was a donkey. I mean, the bunch of donkeys. They thought they were dreaming of something else, and what happened, it was something else. Now, after the growth of ISIS, they find out that this is not what we want. You know, we want terrorists to take over, but a terrorist, we can friend with them, the same as the Saudi terrorists. We can sit in table and we can divide the cake between us and them. Not this kind of terrorist. So then now they want to find out how we can fight those terrorists. However, there's a guy, his name is Vladimir Putin. He was not part of the plan, and this guy, he jumped from the middle of nowhere and he screwed the Western and he changed everything, and he is the one, he is the real king in Syria, in Iraq, in Sudan. Actually, right now as we speak, the Russians are going to have their first base ever in the Red Sea in Sudan. And not to mention that the Russian now they have two huge bases in Syria. And not to mention that Erdogan became the favorite puppy of Putin, and Erdogan he cleaned the shoes of Putin every morning. And not to mention that the Saudi king, for the first time in history, he went to kiss the ass of Putin just a few months ago. And not to forget to mention that the Prince of Emirat, he is now the favorite puppy of Putin, and everybody want to make Putin the king happy because he proved that this man is a real person, not like the stupid donkeys in the West who have no idea what they are trying to do and what is the plan. He destroyed ISIS, he destroyed Al-Qaeda, and the victory we see today have nothing to do with America, have nothing to do with Israel, have nothing to do with anyone, have to do only with one person. His name is Vladimir Putin. He is the one who destroyed ISIS. And now the American, they found themselves facing a problem, and the problem is very simple. We have this family, the royal family in Saudi Arabia, and the royal family of Saudi Arabia is a friend to us for a long time, and we cannot really separate ourselves from them. So whatever they do, we have always to sponsor them. We have favorite princes and favorite members of the family. However, the American, they have no friends as usual, and they are willing to change friends overnight. As an example, yesterday the Kurdish, they used to be our friends. Today they are no longer our friends. Trump, he betrayed them and he dumped them. Yesterday we were promising the Kurdish to have a very great relationship, and we will sponsor them, and we will have etc., and we will give them arms. And today as we speak, Trump speaking of not to arm the Kurdish no more. Why? Because we do not need them. So the Western, they are giving a very wrong idea to their friends, and they are not to be trusted no more. The only ones all the world notice they can be trusted is the Russian. Putin, he never betrays his friends. If he friend you, he will not let you go. 7 years he is the friend of the Syrian, and he never betrayed them. He fought with them, he sent his army there, and he defend them. The American, they always do the opposite. They are friend you or friend to you when they need you, and they dump you when there's no use for you. And that's what we are doing today with the Kurdish. However, the conference, we go back to our topic, which is about the conference happening in Saudi Arabia. The prince, the crown prince of Saudi Arabia, trying to make himself as a special, unique leader. So he invited more than 40 leaders from 40 countries. They are not kings or president, but like this is say the minister of defense, etc., or police or whatever. So he invited them, and the purpose is to fight terrorism. Now, when I saw this in the news, it was really funny, and it was kind of weird because you know, in order to do such a fight, and look what he said here: Saudi Prince vows new Islamic alliance will wipe out terrorists from earth. I mean, who is fooling who? You cannot wipe terrorists from the earth unless you wipe your Quran first, unless you burn it, destroy it, unless you change the mind of people and make them not to believe in such a garbage. The real source of terrorism is not the people, it is the teaching of Islam. So a person who live in an Islamic country, he have the Kaaba, they are the one who spread terrorism for the last 40 years or 50 years. Now you are trying to convince us that you want to fight terrorists, when every mosque in Saudi Arabia is a terrorist school, when every school in Saudi Arabia is a terrorist school. Not a single mosque in Saudi Arabia don't curse the Christians and the Jews and the Hindus and the Buddhas. Not a single scholar in Saudi Arabia don't teach hate. So what this guy is talking about? Simply, he is just trying to present himself in a way to be a leader for the Muslims. And the whole gathering we see there have nothing to do with fighting terrorism. It's about being against Iran. This is why he received the blessing of USA. I mean, imagine that the Muslims are willing to meet together, 40 countries, to fight the Shia. But they never met to fight the Jews. They never met to fight the Christians. You know what I mean? I mean, those people supposedly they believe that the Jews they took their land. They believe that's what they believe. Huh? How come those leaders did not meet to fight Israel and gather 40 countries to fight Israel? They don't dare to do so, and they cannot do so. So what the point of this meeting? It's very simple. This guy trying to make himself look like a real leader who can gather leaders around him, and he be like he's like a Qaddafi. I see in him the vision of a Qaddafi. You know, Qaddafi, he was a madman. He think he would actually he made the African imagine al-Qaddafi to vote to name him, to give him a title that he is the king of Africa, the king of kings of Africa. And everyone who voted for that, he gave him a big check, like $5-6 million. And you know, those African leaders, they are poor. I mean, compared to, so what do you give me a check for $5 million to say you are the king of Africa? I always say that. Yeah, give it to me. Yeah, you know, they are just there for a few months just to make some money and go. Most of the African leaders are corrupt. So he was paying everyone who name him as the king of kings of Africa, and now this guy, he is doing the same, and he is trying to be the king of the kings of the Muslim Sunni. In order to do that, he have to gather them for a reason. And what is the reason? It's a reason which is approved by USA and approved by Israel, and that is Iran is the enemy. Now, can those people really stand for Iran? They cannot. They are potatoes. If Iran really go in war with them, they will be demolished, not even in 2 days. You know, when the war started between Saddam Hussein and the Iranian for almost 9 years, the Iranian, with all the support Saddam Hussein he got, weapon, money coming like rain from Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Emirat, etc. With all the support he have, you know, Iraq is destroyed. If not America, Iraq will be occupied by the Iranian from long time ago. And any war will go with Iran. None of those countries is qualified, not even for a week, to fight the Iranian. This guy, he's like a puppy, and he is hiding between the legs of a Trump. And Trump, he ordered him, I want you to bark at Iran as much as loud you can be. And don't worry, be happy. We are protecting you. So this meeting is not really about fighting terrorism. It's about fighting the Shia, specifically Iran and Hezbollah. So I am assuming that the coming era of war in the Middle East is going to be about Shia versus Sunni. Now, for sure, the terrorist groups as we know them, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, will not disappear. I mean, even ISIS will not disappear. They will pop up like pimples from here, from, you know, between, you know, place to place. So like you have a pimple in your face now, you destroy it, you take it off, and then it appear in the, you know, in different place. So if ISIS cannot appear in the face, is going to appear in the ass. And this is why, you know, terrorism, I believe, will never over. But the dream of having an Islamic state is demolished, and all the Muslims, they understand that very well. And actually what happened, it was very helpful, because now the Muslim, they knew that it is a myth and will never happen, no matter how much they try. For a very simple reason, not because of America, not because of Israel, because Islam is religion of the devil, and it's very much divided. Muslims became millions of sects, not thousands. Yesterday we heard the news, or 2 days ago, about the attack of ISIS by killing more than 317 Sufi, and they consider those Sufi, they are not Muslims. Why they are not Muslims? Because they are from different sect, and this is how Islam is. The Shia, they want to kill the Sunni they want to kill the Shia, even the Shia, they want to kill the Shia, because there's tons of sect. There's Alawi, there's Ismailiyya, there's Abadiyya, Bababiyya, Shafi'iyya, Sunniyya, Halabiyya, Daniyya. It's a madness. Tons of Islamic sect, and none of them agree with each other, and each one of them consider the other one as an enemy and have to go. And when they can do violence, they do violence. When they cannot, well, they look for something else. And now we see that ISIS was focusing in killing Christians in Egypt, as an example. But that did not give them too much really of publicity. So they're trying now to kill Sufi, so maybe they can earn publicity between the Muslim Sunni. Why? Because a lot of Muslim Sunni, and by the way, even the Sufi, they are considered as part of the Sunni, but still many of the Sunni, they consider them a dangerous movement. So they are trying to get publicity again between the Sunni by killing the Sufi, and you know, they try to present themselves that they are the defenders of the religion, and they are the defenders of the cults. But that will not really work and will not help them. They are being stupid, because now more and more from the Muslims will be you know, feeling the heat, and they will fight ISIS, because at the end of the day, you cannot make Muslims believe in one sect. They are, as I said, they are very much divided, and everybody have his own song to sing. And because of that, any Muslim who is from different sect, even though he's not Sufi, if you know, if ISIS want to kill somebody because he is not from the Sunni approved sect, then other sect too, they will be worried that they will be next. And if we go as an example and we see how many Sufi in Turkey, we will find that maybe more than 60 to 70% of Turkey alone is Sufi. Does that mean the Muslim Sunni, they will kill everyone in Turkey who they are Sufi? You know, even Erdogan himself, he considers himself Sufi. So it's a madness, it's a stupidity. And the funny about Muslims, if you ask them how many Muslims in the world, they will say 1.6. You ask them how many believers, how many Sunni, they count the Sufi with them, they count everybody as a Muslim Sunni. But in reality, they want to kill each other. In reality, they cannot live together. They hate each other, they want to kill each other, and they have a madness of hate dividing them. It's hate and blood. It's not just you know, like we are different and we cannot agree. No, it's about violence. So things is going to be really messed up in the Middle East, and I believe that this the new crown prince, who is going to be soon the king of Saudi Arabia, he is trying, I don't know if this is the plan of USA or this is his own plan, I'm not sure really, but whatever he is trying to do, he is no match for the game. He cannot fight Iran, he cannot go in war with Iran, and the only, I believe, the only hope he have, that I can scream at Iran and Iran don't dare to bite me back, because I am the puppy of USA. As simple as that. You know, you might see a kid who is a spoiled kid, and you know, let us say he have a powerful family behind him, or let us say his father is a leader of a gang or a drug dealer cartel. Now this kid, he might come to you, he might hit you, he might make fun of you, but you don't dare to answer back or to do to him what he deserved to get, Not because he is powerful. I mean, he is just a kid. Maybe he is not even to your west, but because of his father. That's exactly what's happening right now. The Saudi prince, the crown prince, he is playing the puppy, the German shepherd of USA, and he is barking as much as he can, as loud he can, to make noise. But that will not go farther than being a noise. Can he fight Hezbollah? He cannot. You know, the Westerns, they made a stupid decisions in the last 5 years, and specifically the stupid leaders of Israel. They wanted to fight Hezbollah, and they wanted to get Hezbollah out of Syria. Right now, Hezbollah became, if I say 100 times more powerful than before, I will not be exaggerating. Because now Hezbollah is extending all the way, because of this war, extending all the way from the south of Lebanon, all the way through Syria, all the way to Iraq, all the way to Iran. So we are talking about 2,000 miles in the middle of the Middle East. And the population of the Shias in that areas is a huge. And now Hezbollah became one of the major forces in Iraq. So it's not in Lebanon no more. So now we have Hezbollah Iraq, Hezbollah Lebanon, Hezbollah Syria, Hezbollah even in Yemen. And not to forget to mention that Hezbollah now open branches in Africa. There's many African countries as we speak, they have a training camps for Hezbollah. So Hezbollah is growing like crazy, and that is the whole game. What do you see in the news have nothing to do with fighting terrorism. For all the Muslims, including government, they are a bunch of terrorists. You know, when somebody says to me, I'm a Muslim, what does that mean? That means he believes in the Quran. And what the Quran says? The Quran says kill Christians, kill Jews. So how you tell me the terrorists are not this king in front of us, or the president of Egypt? All of them, they believe in this book. And as long you believe in this book teaching nothing but hate. So speaking about fighting terrorism as a purpose of this agenda of this person who he claimed, as we saw in the news here, who he said he is going to destroy the terrorist. I say that this is a false statement, and he mean only Hezbollah, and he mean only Iran. But is he capable of fighting Hezbollah and Iran? This guy, he don't even have the power to fart. He is being just an idiot puppy. He talk too much, but he will never be able to do anything. You know, if you go and see the war in Yemen, you will see, you know, Saudi Arabia after 3 years war fighting in Yemen, they could not do anything. And you know, the Yemen is a very poor country, very weak country, and he is fighting a bunch of farmers and bunch of sheep shepherd. So even those, they could not make victory over, you know, above them, and they are in the borders. So what they can do with Iran? Iran is different story, and none of those Muslims around Iran is a match. So what the purpose of this? Why, you know, why those people, they are trying to make too much noise about fighting terrorism, and they keep talking about Iran? There is one of two solutions. Either USA is asking this guy to harass Iran and to go and play some games with Iran, and then that will give USA the excuse to attack them, and by the help of the Israeli for sure. Otherwise, none of those Arab Muslim countries, or even non-Arab, have the courage and have the ability to fight Iran. So we will see in the coming few you know, I don't believe anything will happen. I mean, this, there is one thing about the Arab, and I am from there, as you know. The Arab, they scream too much. I mean, they are saying death to America for the last 70 years, and they are saying death to Israel for the last 70 years. And I mean, and Israel is there. I mean, I mean, even when they want to kill, they kill each other. I don't see the Arab really is capable of fighting anyone. And when I say the Arab, I'm talking about the Muslims. So, are they really going to attack Iran? That will never happen. Because if they do, that will be the biggest stupid mistake ever the Saudi they might do. They are not qualified, they cannot do it, they are no match. The Iranian, they will burn them alive. And I believe if that happen, the American, they will watch for the first month until the fire goes really wild, and then maybe they go and join the Saudi to defend them, to prevent the Iranian from taking over. But I don't think anyone there ready to go and do such a thing. I just wanted to share with you the news about what's happening in the world, and you don't have to agree with me about what we are talking about. Everyone he have his own political view, but obviously none of what those people they say is true, and none of what they try to prove to us is even close to the truth. Islam as a pagan religion always practice one thing, which is called taqiyya. And as if you know, chapter 3 verse number 28 says it clearly that taqiyya is the game. We have always to lie to each other, and the excuse is we have to protect ourselves. So everybody from Muslims country, he play his own taqiyya. So they say something and they do something else. If the Muslim they say they want to fight, that's mean they will go to sleep. If they say we will go to sleep, that's mean they will go to fight. When the Muslim decide to attack Israel in 1973, they did it exactly as I said. They claim that they are going to sleep because supposedly it was the month of Ramadan and they are fasting and they will not attack no one because they are fasting. It was a holiday and they were preparing for a big attack on Israel. But however, as we said, because they are too much divided and they have no qualification to win war, especially in these days, because in the old days it was about how to be savage, how to be like how savage you are to win a war. This is all the qualification you need. Today the war is more intelligence, and it's based on weapon and powerful weapon, not about how brave you are or how savage you are. A woman, she drive an airplane, she can kill millions. We do not need even an army. So the Muslims, when they play the game of taqiyya, that today we can say to you, we can speak to you what is in our lips, but our heart is just like this, as you see in the screen. This is the practice of Islam. So they say now we want to be friends with Israel. I heard the news that the Saudi trying to get close to the Israeli, but do you really believe that the Muslim Sunni they like the Jews? They hate them to death. So what's happening? As you see in the screen, we say to them and we speak to them in a friendly way, but in fact in our heart is just like this. And now they are speaking that we want to be friends with the Israeli, we want to be friends with the American, so we can fight terrorism. And when you ask them who is the terrorist exactly you are talking about, they say like ISIS and Iran. But what ISIS are you talking about? I mean, come on, ISIS, there's nothing left of ISIS. ISIS is going to be exist as an idea. ISIS exists since Muhammad. All of you are members of ISIS. So the whole idea is to be against Iran. But who is the one is qualified to go against Iran? None of them. Even Israel, the stupid Netanyahu, I consider this person is an idiot, official idiot, But I know some people, they like him and they think he is smart. I believe he's corrupt. I believe he is an idiot. I believe he's a false prime minister. This guy, before Obama, he signed a peace agreement, or let us say the agreement about the nuclear facility, the nuclear deal. He had many years to attack Iran and to destroy their facility, and he never did because he's a potato coward. He wanted the American to do it to him. And then he sponsored and he voted, or let us ask, he asked the Jews to vote for Obama. And that's again a proof that he is a donkey and he is stupid, because Obama was the first to betray the Jews and to betray Israel. And then after that, Obama, he signed the agreement with the Iranian, which means now Israel have no excuse to attack Iran, and if they do, they will be badly in trouble with the international society. So he have a window of more than 15 to 20 years during his time, and even the prime minister before him and the prime minister before him, and those Israeli, they did not do attack Iran. Why? It was for very simple reason. They've been cowards. And now the coming war between Iran and Israel is going to be very big. For as I said, Hezbollah is not like a smaller group no more in Syria. If we go right now, let me see if I can find you the Syrian war map. Or let us open Google Earth, and we can show you more. Give me a second. All right. This is Google Earth. Let us take a look. This is Lebanon here. All right. Let us make some a drawing for clear. All right. This is Israel. This area here is Israel. Hezbollah was around this area in the south of Lebanon, and it was causing big troubles for the Israeli. Few years ago, the Israeli, they did something very good by attacking Hezbollah in a very harsh way, and that stopped Hezbollah from attacking Israel, which means they gave them a good lesson to behave. And this is an example about how to be a real leader. When you have a potato leader, the terrorist will attack you always, and they will not stop until you show them that don't play with me. You cannot handle it. You see, if the American, they bomb Afghanistan by nuke, no terrorist will dare to attack USA again, because they will think about it. If every time we attack them, they nuke a country of us, well, 10 attacks, we are gone. As simple as that. But because Israel, they used to have a bunch of potatoes always, and they never really been harsh on Hezbollah. Hezbollah attack them, they attack with a few missiles, and they do some bombing, and they stop. I mean, this is stupid. The same exactly with their war with Hamas. To win a war, you have to have a real leader, a warrior, who go for war, and he never stop until he finished the job. Until now, Israel don't have that. And I don't think they will have that, or someone like that, soon. So now, because of the stupidity of what happened in Syria in the war, which is sponsored by Israel, sponsored by USA, sponsored by the West like France and England, because of that, Hezbollah, by the help, as I said, of the stupid Western leaders, was able to expand his authority all the way to Syria, to the end of Syria. And now, because of ISIS, Iraq allowed Shia militant, by the help of Iran, to establish Hezbollah all over Iraq. So Hezbollah now is covering all those areas we see in front of us in the screen. So you can tell that the size of Hezbollah is huge. And we are talking now about a size of population which is coming from Iran, not only the one in Lebanon alone. And as you know, in Iraq, the majority of Muslims there are Shia. So we are talking about 85 to 90% of the population are Shia. So if I say that in Lebanon and Syria and Iraq, and let me not to add Iran right now, let us stop here. If I say that Hezbollah right now have at least 1 million member, I am not exaggerating. So look what they did. They fought ISIS. They allowed ISIS to grow. They allowed ISIS, Al-Qaeda to grow, and hoping that they will get rid of the Assad. And this was the hope of Israel. But now what happened? It was more ugly and more dangerous. Now they have Hezbollah is the major force in those countries. So now if Israel want to attack Hezbollah before the war in Syria, the attack is going to be in those areas. Let us zoom in so you guys can see better. The attack was going to be here in certain areas, you know, like in the I mean in the south of Israel, and in the north of Israel, sorry, in the south of Lebanon. But now for Israel to fight Hezbollah, they are all over. And that means that Hezbollah, they have many bases and they are going to be spread out. And that will give them a strategic power. And at the same time will make the Israeli very much weak because they have a small land. As you know, Israel is a very small, tiny land. So when you have a huge population concentrated in some local area, you know, then the enemy, whatever he shoot at you, is going to hit, because all of you are in one location. But those are going to be spread all over, and now they are building bases all over Syria, underground, above the ground, and actually they do not even need to build over the ground, under the ground bases. Now they are taking over the underground bases of ISIS. ISIS were building underground bases for the last 5 years, and now Hezbollah is taking over. And now Hezbollah is connected all the way to Iran, as we said. So they have the money, they have the weapon, and the weapon is not going to be small weapon no more, because now they can transport those weapons inland. And they can have a huge missiles. And already Iran, as we heard in the news, that they have a missiles can reach up to 2,000 miles. So Hezbollah, they use actually the Hezbollah in Yemen, they use one of those missiles to attack the airport in Riyadh. I don't know if you heard the news a month ago, here we see that the attack came from Yemen all the way to the city of Riyadh. All right, so this is a huge distance, and the missile went all the way from Yemen, and this is a missile made by Iran, all the way to Riyadh, and we are talking about really far distant. So if they can shoot a missile, Hezbollah, at Riyadh in Saudi Arabia from Yemen, why they will not be able to do the same to Israel? And if the Iranian were able to smuggle such kind of missiles to Hezbollah in Yemen, and supposedly Yemen is surrounded by what they call them, the Arabian forces, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Emirat, Bahrain forces, and they are guarding and they are filtering and they are inspecting every ship come close to Yemen. Still they were able to smuggle those missiles. So imagine how many missiles already Hezbollah has in Lebanon right now and in Syria. So the coming war is going to be very difficult for Israel, and the Israeli, they better get ready. Now, if the Israeli are smart, they should take advantage of what's happening right now between the Muslim Sunni and the Muslim Shia, and take advantage of what this Saudi prince is doing. And the only way I see to solve this problem is to create another war again. But this war is not going to be local, and it cannot be local. It's going to be bigger than the war with ISIS. It have to be war involve many countries, including Saudi Arabia, Emirat, Bahrain, and I'm sure the Iraqi will be involved, because Iraqi are Shia and they will defend their brothers the Shia. And you know, Hezbollah in Iraq became so powerful to the point government, they are so weak in front of them. So the war have to be big, huge. And this is why I say this area in the world will never have peace. So we do not know when this war is going to collapse and happen. It might be 5 years from now, it might be a year from now, it might be maybe 20 years, we don't know. Depend of those leaders, and depend in the one in the White House, if you want to give a green light for such a war to happen. Because the Saudi, they will never dare to go for it unless USA say go. And the Israeli, they will never go to it unless USA say go. In the same time, the American, they have to take care of Putin and fix problems with him, because war against Iran without permission of Putin is useless. And mostly they will lose it again, the same as happened in Syria. There's one person nobody can ignore. That is the Russian bear. They ignored him before and they get screwed. Even Hitler, he was screwed because of the Russian. Don't ever play with the Russian. You're no match, and it's not for our benefit. It's a stupid war. And if you see right now in the West, until now they do not get it. They put sanctions on Russia, they put etc., and that made Russia have a few friends around, and one of them is Iran. So you are forcing them to support Iran. They are being dumb and they are being really stupid, and I mean the Western. Even when Trump, he tried to be close to the Russian, they start accusing him that he is the one who sponsored him to make him win the election, etc., etc. So this guy, he decided to stop away, because already he been accused, big deal, of being friend of the Russian. And why we cannot be a friend with the Russian, I have no idea. They are Christians, we are Christians. They are not communists no more. Still they speak about them in Fox News as if they are communist. Actually, if you do not know, there's more billionaires in Russia, more than what we have in USA. In case you do not know, the Russian, they drive cars we don't have even until now in USA. If you go to Moscow, the price of an apartment is extremely expensive. So in America, still until now, they speak about Russia as a communist country, because American is naive and they are driven by stupid media, and this media is run by businessmen who they have problem with Russia. And as long Russian, they did not fix the problems with those businessmen, they will not allow USA to become a friend to the Russian. And the Russian, they will never surrender. They are not that kind, especially with someone, his name is Putin. This guy is a genius. He is a genius. When this guy, he came to be a president in Russia, the Russian, they were dying in the street from cold. Russian women, they became Russian bride, sadly. They became sex toys. This man, he fixed his country, and now his country is one of the most powerful countries in the world, and they are expanding everywhere. And everybody in the world, he seeks security, he have to be a friend with the Russian. So in Europe and in America, if we cannot find presidents like Putin, Europe and America will never be secure. Trump is smarter as a businessman from the rest, but is he equal to Putin? This guy is no match. I believe Trump, his intelligence is not even 3% compared to Putin. And you know, if you don't believe me, see what Trump he keeps saying in Twitter and stupid things he always talk about. He's like a kid. However, still I support him because in America we don't have better choices. So we voted for a kid, for the others are donkeys. At least he's more honest, at least he say things as it is, and at least he is not trying to take the wrong side. He is doing his best to take the right side, but obviously he is not really too much smart. And as I said, you don't have to agree with me. This is what I believe, and this is what I think is going on. Today I'm not going to talk more about Islam. Today it was just about politics, and politics is dirty, and there's no trust and there's nothing real in the news. Whatever you hear in the news is totally different from what's happening behind the scene. What they say to you on TV is not really what's happening. What Trump he say to you in the Turkey Day is a Turkey Day. It is not really real. Politics in the West and in the world is nothing but like a bad movie, and everybody trying to play as an actor, and everybody trying to lie to everyone, and you are the first one they lie to. All of them, they come for by after election or without election, and they claim that they are the one who is coming to fix your life. And then a president after president after president come, and you notice nothing is changing, and your life is getting worse. Money inflation, and economy is not really good. Security is getting worse, and yet they claim victories. And as we see right now, USA claiming victory against ISIS in Syria, but the fact USA did nothing in Syria. It was the Russian, and all of us we knew it. So don't go by the news. Try to analyze by yourself, try to think about it by yourself, and try to find answers by yourself. And by the way, I'm not taking I'm not taking the side of the Russian, don't take me wrong, but I'm taking the side of what is right, what's wrong. For those who do not know, if not the Russian, there's no Christians in the Middle East. If not the Russian, there's no single church is open as we speak in the Middle East. Imagine if Putin did not send his army, real army, you can go right now and see the Russian, how they go in the ground and they fight ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Real war. Very brave people. If not those people, all the Christian churches in the Middle East will be demolished. While Obama was sending hundreds of millions of dollars of weapon to ISIS, to Al-Qaeda, to the Muslim Brotherhood, Obama was sending weapon and fighters jet to fight ISIS and Al-Qaeda. This is the truth, my friend. Don't try to hide from what's happening. It is disgusting, but this is the truth. One of the funny things, even the stupid Israeli, they open hospitals, imagine, in the south of Israel, welcoming Al-Qaeda fighters. You believe it? Thinking that if they do that, I mean, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But not in this case, you idiot. Those is Al-Qaeda. They hate every Jew. They want to kill every Jew. Very stupid plan. They lost the trust of the local. They did not earn respect from anyone there. Not like, do you think the Muslim, they will respect you for doing that? So it was a big failure from all the Western countries of what they did in Syria, and there's only one winner in this war. Actually, we can say two. The first one is Putin, and the second one is the Shia. The same as the war in Iraq. When George Bush he went to fight Saddam Hussein, who is the winner? America? No. Saudi Arabia? No. It was the Shia. You see, the Muslims, the Muslim Shia, they they got lucky in these days by the stupid Western. However, I believe George Bush was a stupid idiot. He did attack Iraq, thinking of doing something, and he came out with something else. But I believe what happened, it was still good at the end, because by having Iraq as a Shia, that will make those Muslims more divided and less harsh on the Christians. So now we have the Shia Iran versus the Sunni Saudi Arabia versus the Oman, the Shia, versus the Shia in Yemen, versus the Shia in Lebanon, versus the Shia in Iran. And that means the Shia in Iran versus the Pakistani Muslims versus blah 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 blah, you name it, you know, just go, keep going. So they are very much divided, but it was not the plan of America to make them divided. It was the stupidity of America made them come to be like this. Let us say it was this end, which is not really the plan of USA. The American, they were planning for something else. They thought, we go to Iraq, we take Saddam Hussein, we establish a government which is our friends, and blah 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 blah. But what they have right now, they have a friend, they have government in Iraq controlled by the Khomeini followers. The mullahs of Iraq is controlling, the mullah of Iran is controlling Iraq, and all of us, we knew that. So now the only let us say good news, we see that the devil kingdom is very much in heat. The Sunni versus the Shia. This is the coming war, and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia is the one is working in that direction to serve America and to serve Israel, but not because he like America and Israel. There's different purpose for him and different needs, as we said before. But this is the war, and this is what's going to happen. And now you will notice that the Iranian trying their best to buy more of the neighborhoods. So the Iranian, they are opening schools and mosques in Egypt, in Libya, in everywhere, in Sudan, trying to spread the Shiaism between everybody. And actually, there's a good population inside Saudi Arabia of Shia too. And in case you do not know, the Iranian government, they are building schools to spread Shia sect between Muslims in many other African countries, including Senegal, Nigeria, Niger, etc. And they have a training camps for Hezbollah in Africa too. This is why we see Israel trying their best to be friends with Ethiopia, so they can be in control in case something go out of hand. So let us say things is out, you know, of control somehow, and the dirty politics is doing dirty dirt, spreading dirt everywhere. So what is going to happen in the future? ISIS will become a news. It's already over in Syria and in Iraq almost. The coming news is going to be 90% about Shia versus Sunni. And I will not be surprised if they start a civil war again in Lebanon in order to get the reasons for the Muslim Sunni to be involved in that war. I'm losing my voice. So anyway, I want to say thank you guys for being with us. Let us see what will happen in the coming future. But look like it, they are preparing for, if not a war between the big ones, is going to be a war between the little ones, which mean maybe they will create some Sunni groups to be versus Hezbollah. So big parties or big countries, they stay away. As usual, you know, countries, they fight countries by their puppies. So Hezbollah was the puppy of Iran always to fight Israel. I will not be surprised if the Saudi created some puppies here and here from the Muslims, and there's a big number of Muslims population in those countries, and arm them in order to fight Hezbollah. I don't think it's going to go to war face to face with Iran because they don't dare to do so, and they are not qualified to do so, but they are very much qualified to create smaller groups to fight Hezbollah. So I think it's going to be a very bloody war. So we finish with ISIS, we finish with Al-Qaeda almost, but soon we will have different groups, different names, different titles, and the target is Sunni versus Shia. So thank you guys for being here and, you know, being with us. I will finish with this for today so I can go and work again in my books. I want to finish my book about Islam and sexuality before the Christmas, so I'm not going to stay longer. I want to say thank you. May the Lord bless you, and I hope that we learn not to listen to news. News is a machine of a propaganda. Even your government machine is a machine, and they can even lie to you. Try yourself to listen to two directions, opposite directions, because I believe this is very useful, so you can see how they expose each other, and then you can, or you try to filter from both liars the truth, because both they lie. As an example, if you listen to CNN, they lie. Fox News, they lie. Russia TV, they lie. Iranian TV, they lie. Hezbollah TV, they lie. So what do you need to do? You listen to all of them, and then you try to filter. There's a truth there between the lies, and this is your job to find it. Thank you. May the Lord bless you, and until we see you again this coming Wednesday, for sure I might do another broadcast before that, but our fixed dates, remember, it is Friday, Sunday, Friday, Sunday, and Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. That is a fixed date, New York time, and during the week we do other broadcasts. God bless, and thank you very much for being with us. See you soon.